Control voltage in Reason, or CV as it's known for short, is a system that's based in the real world of hardware synthesizers, mainly old analog ones, that used to use electrical signal to control parameters, to make parts of a synth change settings and therefore change the sound generated by other sections. And it's not sound, it's information, it's signal. And you can go your whole life in Reason without ever really needing to use CV or get heavily into it, but some people really like it, and it's there if you want to play with it. It certainly opens up a whole new world of programming possibilities. It can get quite complicated quite quickly. Here, for example, what we've got is a matrix pattern sequencer into which I've just programmed some notes and some curve data. That is then running into this Spider CV merger and splitter, and that's just like a junction box for CV. If I spin the rack round, most of Reason's modules have got at least a couple of CV ins and outs. Some of them have got quite a few, like Thor down here. And I've put this CV module in here, and what I've done is I've taken the note CV from the matrix and I've routed it into split A, and that takes that CV signal and then makes it available for up to 4 other destinations. So it takes the same signal and it can be used to route that out to up to 4 other destinations. You can send that anywhere you want in the rack. I happen to have sent that to the gate and CV sequencer control inputs on this Thor synth here. I've taken the curve CV and I've routed that, if you can follow this cable along here, to split B. And then I've routed that curve data out to the mod wheel input on Thor. And if I wanted, I could take up to 3 more versions of that same data and route it out as well. So there's a lot you can do with CV. It's a bit hit and miss. You have to sort of understand what the ports are that you're connecting up, because some things just won't do anything because the type of parameter you plug a CV connection into for a certain patch might not work as you expect. It might not seem to do anything at all. So it takes a bit of experimenting with, and it's well worth reading the manual if you want to get heavily into CV. It's kind of quite advanced stuff really, but at its simplest it can be used for just creating little patterns. For example, with this little setup that I've got here, if I run the matrix and then play with some of the assignments, you'll see what I mean about how it works. So these are my notes. So those notes are triggering this synth, but you'll notice that there's no data in the sequencer, and that's because I've not actually programmed any MIDI parts. What I've got is I've got the matrix controlling this synth. And the beauty of splitting CV, as we've done here, is if I added another module, let's say I wanted to add a subtractor, I could do much the same. I could take this split signal and I could route it to the sequencer ins on that as well. So sounds quite weird, but you get the idea. So I'm triggering 2 synths from one matrix device. I'm just going to get rid of that. And the curve CV, I can also edit. And you could alternatively, rather than splitting CV signal off like this, you could use it to merge the CV from several devices into a single output if you wanted. Well worth reading the manual about CV because it's quite a complex topic and it's explained in great detail in the manual in a way which makes it fairly easy to understand. But that's a brief look at splitting and merging CV. What about splitting and merging audio?